how does gratitude play into this? So now you have self-exploration and introspection, which you had.
Yeah.
And then how does gratitude play into that?
It's your armor. You know, you have to be grateful. You have to focus on positive things. Otherwise, you look around and you're in this horrible environment around these, not so good people. You're hungry. You're lonely. It smells, all the negative things, right? So I remember in county jail, like I'd start waking up in the morning and I'd go into this prayer and meditation. And that's when I started centering myself around gratitude to start each and every day. I would just think about my family members and picture them doing great things in life. I try to be optimistic about the future, but it's really just focusing on things that just made me feel love in my heart. It's my family and picturing them just doing really good and happy. And that's something I've done ever since. Like when I went to prison, you have a little time in your cell every morning before you get let out to the day room, and now you're around a bunch of people. And I'd get up and same thing, I'd meditate, I'd write down things that I was grateful for, I was working on, and it would just get me in the right perspective. So when I went out to the day room, I wasn't irritable. I wasn't going to get in an argument.
Bro.
I wasn't jeopardizing my time. Like I had to have equanimity, right? I had to be able to maneuver in that setting in a way where I wasn't getting affected by other people, and I was able to stay productive and stay in my lane.
If you can do that in that environment, and that's where it's like the privilege that we have outside of this cell, right? Physical cell. And you're saying, I need to take a moment to be grateful for what I have and center myself before I go out and interact with the world. I think do you still do that in the morning?
Yeah. I mean, I have a morning process. I get up. I've done this for the last 14 years. I need solitude in the morning. I just need time to think. I pray to God for guidance and strength. And I envision my perfect day and what I need to do and who I want to be. And I'm mentally prepping myself to show up as my most elite self for my kids, for my wife and my business, for everything I do. And so I'm using visualization and like gratitude type thinking and perspectives to just set me up for success every day.
Yeah.
It makes a world of a difference. I'm going into my days already executing on that vision.
Yeah.
And like, if I don't do that, if like I sleep past my alarm or, maybe I get home late and I sleep in, I notice that I feel different. Like I don't think as crisp and clear. My energy is different. So for me, it's a performance tool. That morning time, that solitude, it makes a world of a difference.
For some people and again, coming back to the beginning of this conversation, which is society wants you to be comfortable in whatever form you are. And comfort doesn't really come with growth. And we know that evolution requires sacrifice and pain in order to evolve.
Yeah.
So what do you tell somebody who is comfortable? Like you're a business owner, you're overweight, you don't have the best mindset, but you're making money, you're comfortable in life. What is the incentive to evolve?
Yeah, I mean, I think deep down inside, everyone wants to be their best. I think when you're a child, like you have big dreams and you envision doing these amazing things with your life. I don't think people lose that. I think they just suppress it over time and accept a lesser version of themselves. So it's maybe you say something to trigger them. Maybe, you ask them about their family or other parts of their life that are important. The whole goal is for people to see that success is not just one-dimensional, it's multifaceted. Like if I had a bunch of money and a bunch of cool cars and watches, but I wasn't around my family or I was fat and out of shape, like I wouldn't feel successful. And people that are in that world, maybe that's okay for them. Maybe they're, what do you call it, NPC?
Yeah.
Like that's their level. But I just think that most people want to be able to look in the mirror and feel proud of themselves. And this is the whole thing that changed my life, is like finally being able to look in the mirror. And I'm not talking about my physique, like honestly looking in the mirror and going, you're doing all the right. This is the person you always wanted to be. That's the best feeling in the world. Like I started rebuilding my life one day at a time by doing all the right stuff or anything I could do that day to make me feel proud of who I was, and going to sleep at night like knowing that I maximized that day. It was the best feeling in the world. I'm like, dude, I'm in jail. I just did 1,000 push-ups. I read 50 pages. I looked up all these words in a book. I wrote letters home. I wrote those letters with perfect penmanship.
Yeah.
I cleaned my jail floor like it's a palace. Like,
wow.
Like you can't take that from me. I know it sounds trivial to people that haven't been in that situation, but for me, it was all the small things. And brick by brick, it just started building me up.
That's
and it was easier for me to be grateful in jail with nothing than out here with everything I've ever wanted. Because when it's taken from you, you understand how important it is, and you value it so much more. So like I'd be grateful for a peanut butter sandwich. I'd be doing my burpees in my cell, and I was just grateful to have arms and legs to work out with. Like how many times do people wake up and they take their health for granted? Your kid's in the next room, all that money in your bank account, and you're mad, like you're angry. like you're a fucking pussy. like straight up. But like, it's just a lack of life experience and understanding. And so my whole content message is like, I want to get through to people at that level. I want people to like feel some stirring within them. Like, damn, maybe there's more. Like, who could I be if I let go of the excuses and really just face my own fears and perceived limitations and win after everything that I thought I should be?
I have to tell you, this is a confession of mine, which is I met you at Tommy's event when I was working with him, and you were the keynote speaker.
Yeah.
And I listened to your speech, and Tommy was just getting in shape at this time. He was saying at the next show he's going to have like 7% or 10% body fat, whatever that was. And you were the speaker, and I was sitting there watching you and Tommy, and I was like, I want that. I want that commitment to health. That was the first time outside of like Andy Elliott group that I saw two guys that are like successful, in shape, had a sense of purpose. And that really changed my desire to start taking fitness more seriously. Yeah. Obviously, I'm taking some enhancers. I'm eating healthy. I'm working out every day. I've gained, I don't know, I was like 210 during that time. I'm like 260 now.
Oh, wow.
But that was a huge catalyst for me. And I know you've done great work in the trade space.
Yeah, I mean, connected with Tommy, that event was awesome. You know, I met a lot of people in the trades, and I love working with guys in the trades because they're hardworking individuals, they're ambitious, they're driven. A lot of them just neglect themselves because they're so focused on the business, and it takes so much to scale a company and to manage and lead people, you know? But over time, what happens is they start to decline. They don't realize it, but they're losing their edge a little bit. You know, they're losing that focus, whatever it is, whatever the symptoms are. So I love being able to help get these guys back on track. But we were talking about it earlier, like when you see an individual who's fit, who's energetic, who seems like they have a purpose, like there's something different about them, it's attractive. Like you're like, damn, I want to feel like that. I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And I think physicality for men is the gateway to higher level personal development.
Yes.
Because it changes your mindset, your own perception of yourself. And like you have to evolve your identity to keep hitting these new levels.
Yes.
You know, like the old Trent, like the Trent from 5 years ago, that's not who I'm seeing right here.
No.
Right? And the Trent in 5 years from now, he's going to be an evolved version, hopefully, with all these big goals and these moves you're making.
Yes.
Right? So I like it because I don't want this journey to end. I don't want my growth to ever be complete. Like I get to read a new book next week, set a PR in the gym, do something different with my family that's spontaneous, and that keeps life exciting and progressing.
If you were to call my wife right now and ask her like, hey, what is Trent's core belief? She would tell you that my core belief is I want to evolve.
Yeah.
That's the foundation. I
love that.
And I'll tell you a story. Levi's here, and he's the precipice for this story. I was started to do Zen. You ever do Zen?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was like popping them, and it was just like with my friends. We were in a van. It's just something to do, right? I'm on the road making sales calls. So I'm Zenning all the time, and it started like one can every whatever. Then it was like one every day, and then it was like 1.5 a day, and then somewhere like a year down the road, I was addicted. And I told myself, I'm not really addicted. Nicotine, Andrew Huberman says nicotine's good for your memory, you know, and it's going to help with your digestive system, and it's doing all these good stuff. That's why I'm doing it. And my wife's like, I think you're addicted to nicotine. I was like, no, I could quit if I want to. So I took like 3 days off, and I just felt a little weird. I had to do a coaching call, so I just bought another one, and I was like, okay, that was weird, but I could still quit if I want, okay? Then I'm driving in the car with Levi. I'm out of nicotine. We're in the car for like 40 minutes. And I was like, hey, next time we pass the gas station, I just want you to pop over. I just got to grab some nicotine. He's like, cool. There's a gas station by my house. I was like, all right, cool. So we're driving, 5 minutes go by. I go, hey, you just passed that gas station, remember? He's like, no, dude, we're going to the one by my house. I was like, all right, cool. Another gas station passed. I was like, Levi, pull over. He's like, bro. Finally, we pulled over. I got it. I was fine. And on the plane home, I was like, I'm a fucking addict. I'm an actual, needed that nicotine and bothered my friend to go get it. And I needed it then. And I was like, I don't want that. But it's tough. And I did quit. I'm like 6 months or 4 months off nicotine now.
Good for you.
But it's not part of my identity anymore.
Yeah.
Like I don't need it. If you were to ask me right now, hey, I wouldn't ask like, what's the flavor? What kind? Where'd you get it from? Is it Zen or the other one? I would just be like, no, I don't do it. It's not part of my identity. And what I think with the fitness side is it is part of my identity to I am a person that doesn't miss workouts. That is part of my identity. I am a person that doesn't skip days. I am a person that eats healthy. I am a person that takes care of my body. Those are core identity builders in my belief. And anything that you don't like, you could just throw away.
Yeah.
This addiction, it's gone. You don't like it, just today you could make a choice to stop it. And I would like to hear your opinion, but I feel like people genuinely think that whatever is ailing them is a part of them and not just something, a skin that you can shed.
Yeah, there's some type of detachment, or not, there's a connection there, right? Like they feel, like for me, I felt like I was an addict for a long time, but I never, in my core belief of who I was an addict. Like my behavior, I was addicted to drugs and alcohol, but my core belief, I didn't feel like I was a drug and alcohol addict.
Yeah.
One day, eventually, I would change. That was like the thing in my head. But yeah, the evolution of your identity is powerful because that's the difference between intermittent change and long-term lasting change.
Yeah.
You know, and that's how you have to incorporate new habits into your life or break old ones.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, if you could pick all your habits and like look at the future self of who it was going to make, right? You have to commit to them, obviously. For a lot of people, the commitment's hard because they haven't shifted their mindset and their identity. So it's just like this thing I'm doing. Like a lot of the guys I coach, when I first start talking to them, I tell them, look, this isn't just some program you're going to do for 6 months or a year, and then you're going to go back to your old lifestyle. This isn't a program. Like, I want to shift the way you think, and I want you to go through an evolution in your identity so this lasts forever. So just like planting that seed in the beginning, like, oh, okay. Like, because that's the way it lasts. Like Trent, who exercises and takes care of his health, and that's a part of who he is, that's what you're going to do indefinitely. Yes. Not just a 75 hard program or some temporary time.
That Trent is the best version of himself.
Yeah.
That Trent shows up for his family. That Trent doesn't go down.
That's another good point. You got to connect. Like let's take health and fitness, for instance, right? Guys that want to lose weight. I want them to connect the change to things that are so meaningful in their life that it really resonates with them. Like you're going to be more present with your family. You know, you're going to be able to, let's say, grow your business even faster or bigger and have that time with your family back that you want. Whatever it is, provide for them at a higher level. Like being able to consciously connect the change we need to make for ourselves to how it's going to have a ripple effect into our lives and our relationships is powerful. Because now you see the life you can create. Like I call it life by design. Like, what do you want? Not like, what do you think's possible? What might you want to do? If you could write it down on paper and God would grant those wishes or materialize this into your reality in the next couple of years, what would you write down? Like getting you to think really big and free of limitations. And most people, what they write down is way different than the life they're currently living.
Sure.
So we got to get exposed to our truth. What is your truth? Yeah. Don't suppress it, you know? Going back to like the simulation theory, right? What do you call it? Godspeed?
God mode.
God mode, right? Yeah. Like God mode, like we're creators, man. And what you think about and what you focus on materializes in your life. And it's incredible, like what you can manifest, right? Everyone uses that word, but I don't think most people realize they're manifesting the exact outcomes that they're worried about and they're fearful of, right?